What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we're taking a look at The Mummy's Tomb, a direct sequel to The Mummy's Hand. So, The Mummy's Tomb takes place 30 years after the events of The Mummy's Hand. Andobag, the villain of that first movie, somehow survived his apparent death and has enlisted the help of a young high priest named Ahmed Bey to take Karis to the United States to kill off the banning expedition that had thwarted his plans in the previous film. So yeah, that is the overall story of The Mummy's Tomb. Let's speed right through this review and get it over with quickly. Overall, I like The Mummy's Tomb on the same level as The Mummy's Hand. I don't think this movie is awful, but I also don't think this movie's fantastic either. It's another factory-done Universal monster movie once their 40 cycle of horror films started to get going. I would say this: I think Tomb is a little bit more better in terms of certain things as opposed to The Mummy's Hand, but I just don't find this movie to be all that thrilling or all that interesting. The first 15 minutes of this movie uses recycled footage from The Mummy's Hand. This movie only runs for 1 hour, and 15 minutes out of that hour is dedicated to just filling it, and is dedicated to flashbacks, just filling in the gaps of the last movie. And then the next 45 minutes is basically just Karis lumbering around, killing off the banning expedition in very uncreative and unfun ways. So yeah, like, this movie is just kind of bleh. It's kind of blasé to me. I would say this: most of the returning cast from the previous movie do come for this one. The actor who plays Steve Banning returns as an elderly version of him, and the actor who played Babe, who plays his friend Babe, also returns to this movie. I think a big missed opportunity is that the movie kills off the character of Steve way too early. I think it would have been more interesting if Steve and Babe, along with Steve's son, joined forces to stop Karis, and Steve and Babe go out in a blaze of glory, instead of just going out in just throwaway ways. Like, once Karis comes to the States, he kills Steve. Babe, he doesn't make an appearance till midway through the movie. 5 minutes after he's reintroduced, he also gets killed off. Like, it's like these characters we spent a good chunk of the last movie with, they get killed off in very unceremonious ways. Big letdown. Should have done more at that. The character of John, who is Steve's son, he's okay as a lead. He has this girlfriend named Isabel, and they're all right. They got plans to be married, and that stuff is okay, I guess. The character of Marta from the previous movie, her character is dead at the start of this film, so that's kind of a letdown. Chairman Bey, who plays Ahmed Bey, who is the new high priest in this movie, he's okay in the role. He's another human villain. His subplot near the end of the movie is completely tacked on and just comes out of completely nowhere. He pretty much uses Karis to kidnap Isabel, so that way he can have Isabel bear his child as a way to keep the Karnak bloodline going, and just a very tacked on motivation for this guy. This movie should have just focused solely on Andobad and Ahmed Bey just joining up and using Karis to seek revenge and seek his vengeance. That's this movie should have been about vengeance, and instead of just having each death be spread out throughout the course of the entire movie and have Karis kill them off in very interesting and creative ways. Instead, he just strangles you and then you're dead. It's kind of a letdown, kind of boring. I would say this though: Lon Chaney Jr., best known for playing the Wolfman, he plays Mummy in this movie. I like his portrayal a little bit better than Tom Taylor's portrayal in The Mummy's Hand, though it's not saying much, because at the end of the day, the Mummy is still just this lumbering monster who just strangles you and doesn't do anything of all that intrigue. The Wolfman is a much more juicier character for Lon Chaney, because at least you can do more with that character. He can do some athleticism. He can be more intimidating and more ferocious. As the Mummy, he's just like dragging his feet, literally dragging his feet, and it's scary in some. It's scary for 1942 standards in some areas. In other areas, it's just okay. It's whatever. Like, The Mummy's Tomb is a whatever movie. I'll say this: I think the climax of The Mummy's Tomb is much more thrilling than the climax in The Mummy's Hand, and is a little bit more thrilling. since it all takes place at the Banning house and it goes up in flames with Karis getting caught in those flames. It's a nice little homage to Frankenstein and the whole windmill scene from that movie. So I give it that. At least the third act in this movie is a little entertaining. Is entertaining with John Banning trying to save his wife from being impregnated by Ahmed Bey. So I guess that's okay. That's okay for the most part. But other than that, I think The Mummy's Tomb is just slightly better than Mummy's Hand, though not by much. If I'm going to give it a final grade, it's going to be a 4.5 out of 10. It's just a little bit better than Mummy's Hand, though still just a schlocky movie that's neither horrible nor good either. It's just right there in the middle. It's a good way to kill an hour. That's what The Mummy's Tomb is, a good way to kill an hour. I think this movie also did a mistake by taking the setting out of Egypt and putting it in America. At least I didn't find the American setting to be all that interesting, and I don't really think the movie did a good job at even playing with that concept enough. That's just me personally. So yeah, those are my thoughts on The Mummy's Tomb. Let me know yours in the comment sections down below. Like the video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.